Good morning, everybody. It is April 3rd, 8:25 a.m. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Lots of news, right? Always over the weekend. You never know what you're going to come into, right? Let's get straight into the watch list. We can talk about what happened on Friday a little bit later. All right. Big stories. Crude. Crude is up 6.08% at $80.28 a barrel. It's up $4.60. OPEC just basically talked about cuts, and now a bunch of banks and stuff like that, major hedge funds are talking about oil should go to $100 a barrel now. So that's going to put some strain on inflation, and it's kind of crazy now how that like falls into the how that rolls into the mix of everything now, because higher oil is not good for inflation. Okay, so the VIX is up 5.4%. Let's see what else. 10-year yields up 0.72, back to 3.5. Gold's up slightly. The Dow's up 0.32. Silver's up 0.24. Russell is basically flat. Dollar is down slightly, but down 0.14. ES down 0.18. Bonds are being sold, hence the 10-year yield is higher. Nasdaq's down 0.81. So Nasdaq's getting hit pretty hard. Um, Almost down a percent. Bitcoin's down 1.22. Okay, let's move on. See some stocks. Some is there a leader? Not really, right? So let's just talk about the laggards because there's a lot of laggards. Um, I'll just start with the one percenters. Nvidia, Microsoft, AMD, all down over a percent. Amazon, Meta, Snow down 1.49%. Um, Baba is down 1.55. Coins down 2%. Tesla down 3.5%. Tesla's numbers came out for the quarter. They did well, but they missed Elon's target. They actually did get an upgrade too, but that doesn't matter. Market's not liking it right now, and it's falling more as we're speaking right now, down to $200 a barrel. I mean $200 a barrel, 200 bucks. So let's go to the top sector stocks. No surprise here. Oil stocks, Chevron and Exxon leading the pack, followed by healthcare. United Healthcare is up 3%. That's a pretty large jump number. I just saw that Bank of America put out stocks that they're interested in buying. One of them was United Healthcare. Okay. Um, what else do we have? Laggard, Roblox down 1.18. Salesforce down 0.67. Qualcomm down 0.58. Right. All right. Let's look at sectors. Good morning, Chief. Let's look at sectors. Energy, no surprise, leading the pack for up 4.45%. Right. Any laggards? Let's see. Semis, technology down 0.72, and discretionary down 0.78. Right. All right. Let's get into some news. All right. Let's look at some news here. I'll just. Oh man, I didn't want to do that. All right. Let's go over some news really quickly. Just some headlines. Saudi Arabia leads shock cut in oil output. Talked about that. Tesla's quarter one deliveries is on track, but misses Musk's target. Right now, today we got some ISM manufacturing PMI due. Right, there's a bunch of that data coming out at 10 a.m. So I'd be careful with any kind of day trades. Um, Now another thing. UBS is set to cut 36,000 jobs after the Credit Suisse merger, right? But now there's a probe going into them. There's an investigation going into them now. So Credit Suisse is getting hurt by that. The stock's getting hurt by that right now. So that's what I want to go over there. We can also move over to um, some other things here. Let's see headlines. McDonald's is temporarily shutting U.S. offices, preparing for layoffs. Endeavor Group's about to acquire the WWE in a 9.3 billion deal. That they also own the UFC. So that's some important news. I'm trying to see what else I saw here that was to note. Um, Other things here. Look, Tesla got an upgrade. Macy's got an upgrade from J.P. Morgan. Intel got an upgrade for the company's PC demand reverting back to pre-COVID levels. That's pretty much what I wanted to cover. Um, Now we can go into look at some daily charts here. All right, let's look at the SPY. All right, so on Friday, I failed to mention in the morning that it was quarter and month end. So we could have had some window dressing happen on Friday, which is basically fund managers uh, have their portfolios or whatever their funds look great at the end of a quarter, right? So they look and make their stats look great. Um, that definitely could have pushed the market higher after it was kind of moving higher, but then it just started just short covering and window dressing probably pushed it higher, right? So what did the SPY do exactly? So this 405 level was a key level, right? But we pretty much opened on it and then just drove higher, and we pretty much almost went up to this 410 level in the SPY. Now that Fibonacci I had has now been taken out, so I don't have that on my chart anymore. All right, that's now been not fully erased, but a lot of the moves been taken away. So now next key level is 410. Okay, it is 410 level. Why is that 410 level key? So let's look at the monthlies right here. All right. So you just look at this monthly high here, monthly high here, right? This monthly high is right at 410. This monthly high is right around this area of 408, right? And now look, last month's highs right here. So all these monthly highs have kind of lined up except this month, the previous month. We had a high up here, 417. But now we're kind of like by these highs of the last couple months. So that's pretty important level there. Okay, so that's the SPY. Let's look at the Qs. All right, so I talked about that 320 level, right? That's where we went. Right there, that 320 level. Opened up, barely went down, and hit that 320 level. Okay, so you can see the picture in the monthlies and the Qs, just a monster month. They said it's the best quarter that Nasdaq has had since I think it said June 2020. Basically, look at that excess put in and it just rocketed up. Right, you had that inverted hammer last month, but then we just took out last month's high, went right up to 320. Okay, so the next area is like 330. Okay, let's look at the weeklies. So right here, 320 we just hit, right? 330 is a very key level. You can see this is a weekly high here, a weekly high here, another weekly high, another weekly high. So if we're going to go higher, 330 probably is the next destination in the Qs. Okay. Now, let's look at the Dow. These were the weaker of the bunches now. Okay, now look where the Dow is. Right at the 61.8, 332. Okay, 100-day moving average is right here. It just broke the 50-day moving average. Okay, so the Dow really, after hanging out down here, pretty much made a nice move higher right to the 61.8 Fibonacci, 33,332, right? In pre-market, it is up. So it's 333 right now. Right here about the 100 is right almost right at the 100-day moving average. So let's see if we can take this out. And the next level, big level in the Dow, 336. See this support here? It was just support, 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 support for this range. So that's a huge level. I think I already set an alert, but I'm just going to set an alert anyway. That's a huge level. I expect to get some profit taking there when we do, if we do get there. That's just a monster level. You can see it was support and then it was resistance. It was resistance. Okay, big level in the Dow, 336.19. Okay, let's look at the Russell, the weakest of the indexes. All right, so what did the Russell do? So the Russell broke the 176.67 level. Okay, however, still not even at the 38.2 Fibonacci. Very weaker pullback. Okay, still below the 200-day moving average. The next level is 181.28. Okay, you can see here that was support, support, support. It was support again. Then it was resistance. So now that's the next level to look at. 181.28. Let's put an alert there. Okay, so 200-day moving average is also right there. All right. There's also a trend line. Let's see if I can go to my drawings here and put the trend line here. So there's a nice trend line coming up here. So quick trade idea I have is putting on like a butterfly here, because you have in this area you have it has to get to the 200-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, the 50-day moving average. You have a trend line coming from here. So right around here, about 183, I'm looking at a 179, 183, 187 butterfly. It's going to cost around $1. Okay, so it's $1 to make $4. That's what I'm looking at as that butterfly. So I like the butterfly in that. I believe that also, if you look at this as well, you have the 50% Fibonacci at 183. So I can definitely see IWM slowing down here. That's why the butterfly for Thursday. This week is Good Friday, so the market is going to be closed, which is weird because non-farm payrolls is reporting on Friday, but like it's Good Friday. So I really liken this if there's some legs in a butterfly. So butterfly is, if anybody doesn't know, you make money as long as the price goes inside the butterfly. Obviously, 183 on Thursday afternoon would be your biggest profit. However, it's a fixed, just like you're buying a call or a put. Right now, it costs 99 cents to put on, which is basically $1. So a dollar to make $4. Okay, that's full profit. Doesn't mean you have to go for full profit. I just like that there's a lot of confluence there. And the Russell right now is, I think it's like flat. Yeah, it's flat. And so I just like that play. You know, let's go into the triple headed. So yields, came down, broke the support, came back up, found some resistance here, and now like we're sitting at around 3.5. Very interesting with crude now, because if people are projecting crude to go up to $100 a barrel, inflation and all that stuff comes right back in the mix. So let's look at that VIX. VIX is very much fell off a cliff, but it's rising here today. We're back at 1968. Okay, made a low of 1852. There's kind of support down here, if you noticed. We haven't really went below this too many times. 18. So that was support. So now we're up. Volatility has went up a little bit. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar's just in that doji land. But then today the dollar is a little weaker. It's flat, but it's opened here and it's right now at prices here. So this starts to get weaker. That's even more bullish for commodities like oil. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's go back to SPY. Okay. So remember 410 in the SPY, 330 in the Qs. That's what we're looking at. All right, let's get into some market profile, volume profile stuff, right? Okay, so this is the ES, right? Big move, obviously, on Friday. Didn't fill the gap. It almost did, but it didn't, right? So, like, opened, came down, and then just ripped higher, right? You had a couple distributions here, almost like in the day, most traded price here, right? So, we have our high, 41.41. Let's change that color. We have our low, right? We have our overnight high, overnight low. Price right in the middle of the overnight at 41.31. Okay, so holding these prices is bullish. Okay, most trader prices here, we're holding that, right? So in the ES, very bullish. Yes, we closed up here, but in this kind of spike here, we're holding within the spike. That's bullish. What's the job now of the ES? You know, it's to move the most trader price. See, there's a lot of distributions here. You can see in the profile, I got distribution here, and now we're starting to build one out here. You just need to move the most traded price of the week, which clearly, if we can stay up here, will. If it moves up here, then that's bullish, and we can make a move higher up. That is yet to be seen of what happens today. Okay, now, um, if we can hold value here, and you can't establish it up here, we're going to go back down to here. That's just how the market works. You're going to go back down to current value. That price is 4,080. Okay. A couple demand zones here that have to get cut through though. So that would not be easy. Okay. I'm just saying. I mean, we could definitely balance up here, create value, and eventually, anytime you have a big move like that, the market tends to digest it. You don't get a huge move the day following. Can it happen? Yes. Everything I say, it doesn't have to happen, but generally, the market digests the move. Maybe we even move a little higher and come back down, and we digest it. Sometimes you get continuation a little higher, yes, but generally it kind of just like digests the move, which is bullish. Okay, so this is just, like I said, confirming the bullish. Not a lot to read into it. Okay, not a lot to read into it. Definitely, I'm going to be watching this most traded price in this demand zone. That's kind of like a mini tipping point for me, because the majority of trades happened here, which would be long, and we went higher, right? So if the majority of contracts are traded here around 41.16, right? If we break this and hold it, there's not a lot of volume here, right? So we could just move back. It's still bullish, even if we come down here. That's still pretty bullish. But I'm just saying, I'm going to watch this. Very interested in this. Okay. I'm not interested in longs up in here. We're very overbought. Doesn't mean we can't keep going higher. I'm just not interested in getting long up here. Okay. Now if I take this down a little bit, there is a supply zone above. It starts at about 41.67. There's also a naked VPOC here, 41.66 from the past. That's just the most traded price of a day that we never touch again. So definitely is a target up here. I'm not saying we move up here. I'm just saying that keep that in mind. There's supply overhead supply, and a naked VPOC at 41.66, so 41.70 supply. Just be cognizant of that. Okay, so let's talk about possibly what could be a trade. All right, let's start off with some bullishness. You know, what could happen? I definitely can see. I'm not interested in anything above the high of Friday. Really not. I don't want to. That's overextended. However, if we get a little push up, we could take these out. We could take the exuberance out of the market a little bit and come down here. Do we pop into this demand and take off? Maybe. Maybe that's one, right? Maybe. I'm not. I don't know how interested. I'd have to really see it hold here, right? I think the better play is if the market came all the way back down to this most traded price and demand. That's the better, to me, that's the better play if you want to get long. And then you see how the market reacts, right? If it's a brief moment down there and you get a higher low, go long. Target Friday's high. That's your target. All right. Maybe hold one on. I don't know how far we can go, right? Because this is pretty. Got a product, but if it could hold it for the runner for the naked epoch in the supply zone up there. Okay. So this is very key right here. Let me give you that level exactly. The most traded price of Friday, 41.17. Okay. So in this area, if the market holds, right, you're gonna want to go long. And why that's a good play is because now what are you going to have here? You're going to have shorts. Whatever this comes down to, let's say from here, okay? Just psychologically, everyone's going to short, right? People are going to take profit. People are going to take profit, right? And it's going to bring it down to here. Now, if you miss the move, right? All these shorts are now short, right? And let's say if they don't get paid, well, they're going to have to now cover. And if this starts making a move back, they're going to cover. It's going to fuel the move higher. Okay, that's why that would be. That's why that's a pretty decent trade, right? All right, let's talk about a short. All right, nice short. Well, we got to talk about obviously if we make it up here. All right, let's just talk about if we do go all the way up here, which would be definitely overextended, right? I'd have to wait in the supply zone to see some lower highs, but that definitely could be a nice short, right? You would target like the developing most traded price of the day. So that's one, right? Wait for this to get extended, right? And people are going to take profit, right? So that's one. I don't see this as a highly likely scenario today, but it could, right? So I have to put that in there. Now, like I said, 41.17 is very key to me right now. This area, right? So what we'd have to do, break this demand, right? Come under this most traded price, break that, break this demand, hold. Now you keep making high, like lower highs, right? And lower lows, and the market starts getting weak, well, that could take us down right to Friday's low and right into this demand. Okay. I really have to see this break though. Okay. Now, we talked about this already, right? Just the reverse of what I just talked about, right? So if everybody's long from Friday, from basically the open, everyone's long here. So everybody's good. Right? So if you bought any kind of stock here or futures, maybe you took profits at the end, but let's just say you held it. So you're sitting pretty, it's holding, right? But it starts coming here, and the majority of people initiated positions here. You break that, you're going to get some selling, but then it's the choice here is, do buyers want to buy again, or are they going to sell? Or these longs going to sell here? And that's when you take advantage of that. But again, that has to all line up with what the market's doing. That's what it comes down to. You have to When the market opens, like I'm seeing stuff now, but when the market opens, you have to read now what's going on with the market. What's the market telling you from the open? So, if we're down there and, the market's really not that weak, well, I'm not just going to short it. I'm not. Okay? So the tipping point, 41.17 is the tipping point. All right? Let's look at that Nasdaq. All right, Nasdaq. Now we know Nasdaq's weaker. Okay? Nasdaq is weaker. So let's look at the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq, what it did on Friday was actually came down to the most traded price of Thursday and took off. So that's what that did. So the open here just ripped up, right? Broke supply and um, went up to that 420 level in the Qs like I talked about, right? So what do we have here? So we close at the highs. So there's our high, there's our low, overnight low. Now look at the price right now, 131.96. We're pretty much almost at the lows of the overnight. Here's the highs of the overnight. So look at the difference, right? This box is the most traded price of Friday for the Qs. We're underneath it already. So the most people, the most contracts traded were here. We're below that right now in the Qs. So in the ES we're not. So you can definitely see they're not in sync right now. And you can see obviously with tech like Tesla, Baba, Meta, Google, and all tech is weak right now. Okay, and when we open, I don't know, do people just take profit and get nervous because of oil and all this stuff going on? So, um, very interesting, right? So now we do have a balanced profile. Okay, so that is not giving us a lot of information. Okay, and we're within Friday's range. So I mean, we still are, you know, this still is bullish. Okay, still is bullish. Again, this is the most traded price of the week currently, right here. We're way above that. And what do you need? You just need this to move up. And here's a candidate over here. You just need it to move up here. And if that establishes and the price stays above here, we're going to go higher again. But again, what happens? If the market can establish new value here, we're going back here. That's just how it works. Okay, we've made a mighty move. Like I said, market's overextended, but the market can keep going even if you think it can't. I know that. Okay. All right. So the Nasdaq to me doesn't have a great as a setup as the ES, like I just showed you with the levels. It doesn't have it. Okay. Um, it even has a little supply zone here from the overnight. Okay. So that is one scenario. We're gonna look at the short scenario first. Okay, of what I'm seeing right now. Okay. So one scenario, and I'm not saying I'm crazy about it. Okay, but I have to put it in and I have to monitor it because it's gonna work in conjunction with my ES. Right. So that 41.17 level in the ES is gonna dictate a lot of what I want to see in the Nasdaq. Okay. So if, like in the ES, we talked about 41.17, right? If 41.17 is broken, all right, that's bearish, okay? And we see the Nasdaq come up into this supply zone and it starts to get weak and it starts to go, well, then you got to go to short Nasdaq, okay? You're gonna look for this demand zone here because that's a lot of buying on Friday that definitely are going to want to liquidate their positions. They're going to take profits. Okay, but I got to see the ES week too. Okay, the other play is you got supply up here around 134. Okay, have to talk about that too. If somehow the market breaks Friday's highs and we go up there, you look for, the higher low, lower highs, and then possibly you can short. I don't know if that happens today. I don't think that's the most probable situation. Okay. Now, this is still bullish. We're above the most trader price. This is still bullish. We have to come down here, take out this to me even change my mind into being like, ooh, I want to be, I think the market's going down now. That's my barometer right now. Okay. So if we're going to talk about it along, let's talk about it. So if you're like, hey, I only want to be long in this market, which is fine, which is understandable. If we do come down here, this is your long, right? And we hold it, make a couple higher lows, then you can get confident in taking a long, and you target like the most traded price of today. And if we really got now, like I said, I'm not expecting big moves today after that big move on Friday. Okay. However, like I said, you would target the most traded price of today. I don't know what that is. That's called a developing VPOC. And then you would target the highs of Friday. Maybe hold one on. But like I said, I could see balance too happening today. I could see us just even coming down here and then landing here, going up here and landing here. And building this value out here for the next move higher. But there's so much going on right now with oil and Credit Suisse and UBS, and Tesla is down 3.3% right now, right? It took back almost all the move. Pretty much almost all the moves have been taken back from Friday. So very interesting morning. And again, at 10 o'clock, I didn't go to this before. Let me go to it. All right, so at 10 o'clock, you got ISM manufacturing employment, ISM manufacturing PMI, and ISM manufacturing prices at 10 o'clock. Okay. And you actually have this at 9:45, a manufacturing PMI. So you should see volatility at 10 a.m. I wouldn't want to be in a trade too much. You should see some little volatility at 10 a.m. So just be careful with that. Okay. All right. We got our plan. Okay. 41.17 in the ES is our level. That's the level. Hold above that, I want to be long. Hold below it, I want to be short. In the market, how it develops today, how weak it is tech going to be weak off the open, or people going to take profit? What's oil going to do off the open, right? All these things you got to pay attention to and be patient, right? 10 a.m. Really don't want to be in a trade till post 10 a.m. because of those numbers coming out. Okay, that's going to shake people out of some trades. So, hope that made sense. We got a plan. If I fire off some trades, I'll do an update. If I see something that's very important to look at, I'll note it and I'll put a video out for it. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. Everybody, let's stay green today. Let's stay patient. If your setup's not there, you don't take it, and then we trade another day, which would be tomorrow. Remember, Good Friday's on Friday, so we will a smaller trading week. And wish everybody good luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow if I don't speak to you again today.